feel a strange sense of uncomfortability whenever I think about 7th President of the United States, Andrew Jackson. Being the president who is directly responsible for orchestrating the Native American genocide, it fills me with a sense of injustice. Why is he immortalized along other legendary presidents of America, to the point where he is on the $20 bill? Andrew Jackson's rise to political power was nothing short of picturesque. He understood the system of capitalism so well that he went from rags to riches, from nothing to the most powerful person in the world. It's this prevailing image of Jackson which is why so many people are still very fond of the man, being the capitalist ideal of what a president should be, down to the fact that he is current president, Donald Trump's favorite president in history. That's not true, right? When talking about a rags to riches story, it's important to view it from the historical time period. It's much harder for a poor person to gain power in 2024 as it is in the early 1800s. Specifically, Andrew Jackson was born as a white man in the southern states of America pre-Civil War. Andrew Jackson was in a very advantageous position and took that position perfectly, becoming a hateful, bigoted slave owner committed to ethnic cleansing and manifest destiny, and abuse of power to cause unnecessary bloodshed against people who did not look like him. Defenders of Jackson claim that he was a product of his time, and that he would not be as bigoted today. This includes legendary presidents like Abraham Lincoln and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. President Harry S. Truman was in a lot of ways similar to Jackson, both born fairly poor with no power, who slowly rose the ranks of the same political party, only to become and serve 2 terms at the highest office in the world. The problem is that Harry S. Truman was not popular, none the slightest. With him being, quote, deliberately obtuse about the growing threat of communism, and with the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which has been widely debated but nevertheless seen to be a tragic loss of life. Is the difference then that Andrew Jackson was a product of his time but Truman wasn't? Or is the difference that Jackson's far worse crimes can be swept under the rug more easily due to being a less recent historical figure? Whatever the reason, in the case of Andrew Jackson, a similar justification is used a large number of times. Wasn't that normal back then? Why should I judge his legacy by the context of today's rags to riches compared to the story in the 1800s? Why must I judge someone for being a slave owner at a time where that was fairly normal? Why should I judge a dead man for something that already happened? It should not be normal to do this. It should never have been normal to do this. Justifying atrocities should die in the same way slavery did. Just because in Roman times it was a popular idea to sacrifice infants doesn't mean it wasn't evil. And just because systematically killing Native Americans was a popular decision doesn't not make it the work of a malicious monster. Which is why I sincerely hope that the $20 bill finally gets fully replaced by Harriet Tubman.